Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by in the fog. Can you guess what I'm about to get up to? I'll shut the kit down. Yeah, I can just about get away with it. It's when it gets to this time in the afternoon, whatever it is, 5 o'clock, should be tea time really. But more hassles. The latest Gmail account that I set up, I transferred everything across. I've updated everything I can think of with my new email, and guess what? I've been locked out again. And unfortunately I forwarded lots of stuff into that account because it was working and everything was fine, and I've deleted behind me, so I can't forward those emails again, which gives me my contact details. So that's 3 Gmail accounts I've been locked out of now. The one that I use for my YouTube channel, I think I've just so I've just noticed the lens is misted up. Excuse me just a minute. Sorry, I hadn't noticed that. I don't know how long you've been looking at mist, but yeah, so basically I've just gone back to Outlook, which I used to use years and years and years ago because it went with my work. That's what they used at work. So I've set up a new Outlook mail. Now I'm going to have to go back to all the places I've updated my mail and do it again. And I'm not doing that today. It's just basically the recovery system doesn't work. Well, let me just turn that off. There's a bug in there basically. My last ditch attempt, which I was just about to do when I forgot I hadn't filmed anything today, I'm actually going to set my desktop back up, yeah, and see if that'll allow me to use the recovery. It could just be something to do with that laptop, because I've only had trouble with new Gmail accounts that have been set up on the laptop. I can't for the life of me think what it is. I don't even want to know, quite honestly, but I'll have a see if I can get in on the desktop, which means going and finding the flipping keyboard and some messing about that I'll do after I've had something to eat. But anyway, let's get the tripod set up and see if we can do some surgery. This should be fun. Right, I haven't got a clue how much of this is going to be in shot. What I've done is I've hung the Vanda up there, put the camera on the tripod and zoomed in so that it hopefully looks relatively close. I just had a brilliant idea. I thought, this basket is held on with 4 wires. Yeah, I thought, right, if I cut the wires, then I should be able to get the basket to drop off. Unfortunately, the wires come together at the top with a hook, and that's what's holding the Vanda up there. If I cut the wires, it's going to fall down, isn't it? And then I won't be able to do this. So this is not as obvious as I at first thought. Anyway, the first thing I want to do is cut the stem. That was the original plan, and I'm going to go down quite low. I may come up higher later, but I'm going to get in about there and chop the main stem. Right, and the next thing I'm going to do is cut off all the large... Do I need to do that? I don't think I do. I'm going to see what happens actually. So this is not going to be easy, because if I cut the wires, the Vanda's going to fall down, isn't it? Oh, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Well, if it's not in shot, it's not in shot. There's only so much I can do here, and I need it done. This is right, that's 2. Now you can see what I'm getting at now. Actually, that might not be a bad idea if I work on it like that. Because the idea is to get the Vanda to let go of the basket, which it isn't doing at the moment. So what I've got to do now is try and find out which parts are holding on. Yeah, and it's going to be everything that's basically touching the basket, isn't it? Which, where did I cut it? Can't even see the cut now. Well, actually, I'm going to go to there. I was going to come up higher anyway. Right, now. I don't know how to get this to let go of the basket. I really don't. What if I just pull and see what happens? So this is what I was worried about, is that it's just, if I now hold it upside down and work on the bits that appear to be holding onto the basket, hoping that some of them will actually come undone and let go and still be usable roots. But it's coming off one way or the other. So we'll have that one off. Just not a huge amount holding it on now. A lovely big root over there, if it will untangle itself and let go. So it doesn't matter if a few of the ends broke off, they will regrow. I think let's just let go. I think that's just about it. Right, got another one over here, hanging on desperately. That is it. Right, so that's what we've got left. And some of that is going to come off. What I'm after is a root system that will fit in the bucket. That's all I'm really after here. That's an old root. What I'm looking for now, I don't know how much of this is in shot. Let me just move the camera a minute because I know it's too high. Let me just come down a bit and possibly zoom out and get back to my normal viewing angle. We'll zoom out now, then I'll bring the plant to the camera. That's how I normally work. Oh, right, that's better. I can see that's better. Now what I'm looking for now are roots that have no signs of regrowth, so they're just old. They can go on the floor for now, like that. That's a white root. That's a white root. That's shooting out right down at the tip. This one isn't. Follow it back up to the point where it is, which is there. How about you? You've got some white bits, but you've got a long dangly bit that I don't need. There. You're shooting out. You're not. You can come off there. Gives you a white bit. That bit can come off. We do have new roots growing out from the stem at the moment, so shoots coming out there, right on the end. I think that'll do for now. Now that is more than enough roots, because that should now trigger the plant back into some growth. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to stand that in the bucket, because that hasn't been watered today. So I'm going to stand it in the bucket and completely hydrate what I've got. And then when it comes out of the bucket, I'll put some cinnamon on the cut, because I've actually cut half a root off there as well as the stem. The stem is nice and clean, we have no pink bits. That was the worry when we had that damage on the leaves, was that it was actually becoming infected with the dreaded thing we don't mention. And I'm going to trim that leaf off while I'm there. That's been annoying me for a long, long time. You've got a dead end to a leaf. Been there ages. Right, so that should work an awful lot better for me. And as I say, we've got new roots coming out. This is a relatively new root. The end's gone, but it is shooting out. It's alive, and so are all the other places. So in the bucket, get it wet, put some cinnamon on, and then I've got to find a new way to hang it up. Because I've now lost all my wires. It's now got no hook, which I'll sort that out and I'll show you when it's done. So I'll be back. Okay, I had a dig around in my cupboard, and I found this. This is galvanised steel, so it's a pig to bend, and if you don't get it right, it pokes a hole in your finger where the sharp bit is, where you cut it. But what this came off of, I don't know. But basically what I've done is it had 4 long pieces of wire hanging off it, one of which I cut off because I only need 3. So I wrapped a piece of wire round the base, Yeah, so right down where the first few roots come out. So it's below any point that new roots are going to come out, in a place where nothing's going on, so it can't get in the way of anything basically. And that gave me a loop around the plant, and I then put 2 straps down and attach them to that loop. So the only downside is obviously where the wire comes through, it sort of pushes against the leaf slightly, sort of there, but I'll live with that. And the other thing I've done is I've made the hook lower down than the previous one was, which means when it hooks on the wire now, it's got about that much clearance before it gets to the roof, which gives me a lot of growing space before it touches the roof, at which point I'll panic. That's a few years away. So I put the cinnamon on the cut on the bottom, so that's sealed now. That'll dry that off nicely. The other cuts don't matter that much, and we'll see how these roots progress now. As I said, there's new bits growing out from all over the place, and I think they're going to shoot on a lot better now that they haven't got the support of that half dead stuff hanging on the basket. So that's it, that's that done. I can go back up where it lives now. It wasn't due, strictly speaking, to be watered today, but it has been, so it's done now. Right, yes, so the bug in Google Mail most people would never come across, because when you set your account up, it asks you for a recovery phone. Most people are using their phone, yeah? How many people have got 2 phones to put a different phone number in? Unknown. But it won't let you use your current phone, I don't think. It might do. I don't use my phone for mail. So anyway, so the bug is that on my laptop, I don't know whether it happens on others, it's not storing the device. So when you log in, yeah, it should know where you've logged in from. Yeah, so that next time you log in, it recognizes your device. That bit isn't working, so it goes into recovery. If you've got a recovery email and a recovery telephone number on the account, it takes no notice of you unless you completely clear down all your history and your cookies and everything, like I do every now and again, wipe the whole lot clean, shut the laptop down and start it up clean. At that point, I lost access to my account because it doesn't recognize the device as a known device. So it instantly goes into recovery mode, and because it hasn't got a phone on it, it can't recover it. So in amongst that lot is a software bug. Google are not going to do anything about it. They don't care. It's a free service, so you have to get on with it. So I have to keep my Gmail account that goes with my YouTube channel because they're all embedded, unfortunately. And there's nothing wrong with that one. That has got the phone number on it and it works fine. If I clear all my cookies and history down and everything like that, when I log in, it asks for the 2-stage verification, sends me a text to my phone, I key it in and everything's fine. So that Gmail account can stay. But all the others I'm just going to phase out basically and switch back to Outlook, which basically is a hotmail.com email address. Loads of the people I know in the Orchid societies have got those addresses. Hannah's address uses that. So that's what I'll do to sort that out. But in the meantime, one desperation is to set up the desktop and see if I can get back into that account, at which point I can forward everything that's in it to my new account, taking the contacts with it. And then I shall just forget it ever existed. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the hacking of the Vanda. It's going to be a lot easier to handle now. The other Vanda, let's get that out of the bucket. See, this one's not a problem because the basket it's got is irrelevant. It's got no impact on the size of the plant or anything. It's a tiny little plastic basket that it was in when it was about that big. Well, when it was about this big, I suspect. Whereas now it's got a lot bigger. But this one has got one of these steel wire hooks on as well, which I've had to extend. So yeah, so the Vandas still live where they always have. And yes, right, I'm going to go and get some tea, and then this evening I may feel like it, I may just leave it till tomorrow morning now. Unfortunately, I'm now out of contact with everything. My bank, so many things I changed. Even my wine account, which is due for delivery in a couple of days' time. I'll be getting mails about that. I've changed that email on so many places, and I'm now going to have to change it again in all those places, including both orchid societies, who are probably getting very fed up with the whole thing, because this is the second time I've done it for one of them, and that will make it the third time and the second time for the other one. It's all good fun, isn't it? I could do without it. Let's get the camera down. It'll be a bit lumpy while I unhook it, but clacks and bangs. But what I'm after is the big brassica is starting to show the buds now. And they're not quite where I was expecting them. There was a cluster up here, which is where I was expecting the buds to start. I was expecting these to just be little nodes. They're actually buds. So if the buds start there, get him back, see if I can get a better background where you might be able to see it a bit better. Yeah, that doesn't work either. Oh well, somewhere around there. So that's the first bud that's going to be a flower. Now start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that's before we get to the cluster. I'm going to estimate 15 to 20 blooms per spike, but it is an estimate. I can't remember how many were on the spikes last time round. But yeah, the buds are forming a lot lower down the spike than I expected them to, so they're going to start quite low down. Ooh, whoopee! And that's the one I got at Burnham's at their 70th anniversary show last year. And I also bought another one, which is a more normal sized plant, which I noticed today has a spike on it. So we've got a spike coming on that one too. That produced 2 new growths staggered. So the new growth that's the farthest advanced is the one with the new spike. The other growth will spike probably in about 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks time, which means there'll be a nice succession of blooms on that one spike after the other. Whereas this monster here, all the spikes are going to open together, I suspect. So there won't be much of an overlap, if any. So we'll work with that, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by, watching me hack my Vanda to pieces. Well, I was getting fed up with the basket itself. It was just clumsy. It was heavy, bashed into things, refused to let some of the roots go in the bucket as a consequence. It was just getting more and more clumsy to handle. So now it's all light and airy, with plenty of room for these nice new root tips to push on and grow a better root system than it's got now, but it's still got a more than adequate root system. There may be a little bit of a setback there, but it won't be much. I've seen Vandas actually come from suppliers in unboxing videos that have got far less roots than that, so it should do okay. See you next time.